of wisdom of Nagarjuna. Mahaprajnaparamatasastra. 8 Yen Lamat. Composed by the Bodhisattva Nagarjuna and translated by the Tripitaka Dharmacarya Kumarajava of the land of Cao Cha. Under the later TSN. Translated from the French. By Gelongma Karma Migmi Chodron. Chapter 16. The story of Sariputra. Sutra. The Buddha said to Sariputra. Sastra. Question. The Prajnaparamita is the system of the Bodhisattva Mahasattvas. Why does the Buddha address himself here to Sariputra and not to the Bodhisattvas? Answer. Of all the disciples of the Buddha, Sariputra is by far the foremost in wisdom. A stanza of the Buddha says, except for the Buddha Bhagavat, the knowledge of all beings would not equal a 16th part compared with the wisdom and learning of Sariputra. 1. Sariputra at the festival of Jiryagramasaja. Furthermore, by his wisdom and his learning, Sariputra possessed great qualities. In his youth, at the age of 8, he recited the 18 kinds of sacred books and understood the meaning of all the treatises. At that time, there were 2 Naga kings at Mokieto. The first was called Ki Li and the second Akai Lo. They brought the rain at the proper time and the country did not experience the years of famine. The people were grateful to them and regularly, in the 2nd month of spring, they went in a crowd to the Nagas to hold a great festival. They played music and palavered the whole day. From early times up until today. On that day, it was customary to set up 4 high seats, the first for the king, the second for the crown prince, the third for the prime minister and the fourth for the scholar. One day, Sariputra, who was 8 years of age, asked the crowd for whom were the high seats set up. They answered that they were for the king, the crown prince, the prime minister and the scholar. Then Sariputra reviewed the people of his time and saw that, among the Brahmins, etc., nobody surpassed him in intelligence, charm, and beauty of appearance. He therefore mounted the seat of the scholar and sat there cross-legged. The people were astounded. Some said, "He is a young fool who does not know anything." Others said, "The measure of his wisdom surpasses that of men." While admiring his bravery, everyone felt uneasy and, out of regard for his young age, abstained from debating with him. Then they sent their young students to engage him in conversation and question him. Sariputra's answers were perfect and his arguments conclusive. The scholars cried out at this wonder. "Fools and wise men, great and small, he confounds them all." The king quite happily conferred on him a command, the revenue of a village which was ceded to him in perpetuity. The king, mounted on an elephant, rang a bell and proclaimed the news everywhere. And in the 6 great cities of the 16 great countries, there was nobody who did not congratulate him. 2. Sariputra and Maudgalyayana at Sanjaya. At that time, the master of the oracles had a son whose name was Kiulutio and the name of the family was Tamaukain Lien. Sariputra was his friend. Sariputra was outstanding for his talents and his intelligence, Maudgalyayana for his fearlessness and vivacity. These 2 children were equal in talent and wisdom and also in qualities and conduct. They were inseparable. When they went out, it was together. When they returned, it was together. When they were a little older, they made an agreement of eternal friendship. Then, both of them experiencing disgust for the world, they left home to practice the path, became disciples of a brahmacarin and diligently sought entry into the path. For a long time this had no result. They questioned their teacher, Chan Choye by name, who answered, "I myself have spent long years seeking the path and I do not even know whether the fruit of the path exists or not. I am not the man you need. I have found nothing." One day their master fell ill. Sariputra stood at his head and Maudgalyayana at his feet. The teacher gasped for breath and his life reached its end. Suddenly he smiled with pity. The 2 friends, with one accord, asked him why he smiled. The teacher replied, "The customs of the world are blind and affected by the emotions. I see that the king of Kinti has just died and his main wife has thrown herself on the funeral pyre to join him. But for these two spouses, the retribution for actions is different and the places where they will be reborn will be different. Then the two disciples put down their teacher's words in writing in order to verify their accuracy later. Some time later, when a merchant from Suvarnabhumi came to Magadha, the two friends questioned him discreetly. The things their teacher had said had actually occurred. They uttered a sigh of relief and said, "Perhaps the master hid his secret because we were not worthy." The two friends exchanged the following oath. The first to find the immortal must communicate its flavor to his friend. 3. Conversion of Sariputra and Maudgalyayana. At that time the Buddha, having converted the Kashyapa brothers and their 1,000 disciples, was traveling about in various countries and came to the city of Rajagrha where he stayed at the Venuvana. The two brahmacarin masters, hearing that a Buddha had appeared in the world, went to Rajagrha together to welcome the news. At this time, a bhiksu named Achoche, one of the first 5 disciples, wearing his robes and carrying his begging bowl, entered the city to beg for his food. Sariputra, noting his fine manner and his meditative faculties, came to him and asked, "Whose disciple are you? Who is your teacher?" Asvahit answered, "The crown prince of the Sakya clan, disgusted by the sufferings of old age, sickness, and death, has left the world, exerted himself on the path and has attained complete perfect enlightenment. He is my teacher." Sariputra said, "Tell me, what is your teacher's doctrine?" He replied with this stanza: "I am still young. My instruction in it is still at its beginning. How could I speak truthfully and explain the mind of the Tathagata?" Sariputra said to him, "Tell me its essence in summary." Then the Bhiksu Asvahit spoke this stanza: "All dharmas arise from causes. He has taught the cause of these dharmas. Dharmas cease due to causes. The great teacher has taught the truth of them." When Sariputra heard this stanza, he attained the first fruit of the path, the state of Srotapanna. He went back to Maudgalyayana who, noticing the color of his complexion and his cheerfulness, asked him, "Have you found the taste of the immortal? Share it with me." Sariputra